Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Nasdaq update for today, Thursday, the 20th of March. Honestly, really nothing has so much changed at the moment, but the probabilities at the moment increasing that we don't have an ABC structure, that we have a WXY structure, okay? And that's at the moment the scenario, because if I count that as an impulse to the downside, which it is, but it's a little bit strange that we have this relatively long in time correction to the more or less sideways movement. Okay, that would much more fit better as a B wave or an X wave to the upside. And as I told you, that the Y wave is an ABC structure, so we have an A, B, C. And the question is now, how high can this X or B wave go here at the moment? If I count that impulse to the downside finished here, in my view, which would be the low of the 13th of March, which would be a so-called truncation, that the fifth wave was not able to take out the low of the third wave, so in the internal third wave here, okay? And otherwise I cannot count that as an impulse, so I have to leave it as a truncation right now. It's not that often, but you have that because on the S&P we did another low. Okay, that was the part I was talking about the last time, and the probabilities right now increase that we come up in an X wave and we sell off from here to the downside. That scenario only stays on high probability as long as we are holding the 78.6 at 19,721. Because a break below the 78.6 would decrease the probabilities for being a double zigzag pattern to the upside. Okay, that it cannot be counted as a double zigzag then, because it's much too low, and that just lowers the probability. So a break below 90,721 would indicate we come down further, or we are building an A, B, C structure to the upside. Okay, so the X wave is also an ABC, but it cannot be a double zigzag then, okay, because it would suggest that we come down and take that low and then move higher from here. That's the scenario if this is being a flat structure to the upside, okay? So it cannot be counted as a double zigzag then. It needs to be something like an ABC structure. But I want to see in that B wave to take that low here at 19,605. At the moment, as long as we're holding that level and we hold above the red line here, the probabilities are higher that we come higher again and probably reach at least the 100% extension. And that only is indicated by a break above the green line, which is also the swing high here at 20,171.50. So technically, if this is the correct labeling and the correct count, we want one more high in either an A, B, C structure, in a so-called flat structure, or we have a double zigzag and we're not moving below the 78.6, but then we really have to start impulsively to the upside from here, okay? So we cannot range anymore. That needs to really, really go then, okay? If the count is not right, and I would interpret it differently. So that's the first scenario, okay? We come down, get up, and come down again. It would be a WXY structure. If that correction, okay, and if this correction is still ongoing and we have to put our wave 4 here, the 3 goes here and the 5 still to come. I cannot rule that out. It would look something like that we have our ABC structure in wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the short-term, more bearish scenario. That means we should sell off directly if we label it like this, okay? If we label it like this. Only if this is the case and we are not breaking above the green line and break directly below the 78.6 here. That would indicate directly selling pressure to the downside. And it needs to build impulsively, but I don't really like that the wave 2 here in this scenario came up that high. But we have to be open for these two scenarios, okay? So either we have one more impulsive move to the downside here, and this was a 4 and we are in the 5th wave in white, or we have our either flat structure to the upside or a double zigzag, but then we need to rally from here, okay? We really need to rally from here because the 100% extension is not the most common target, being a WXY structure to the upside in a double zigzag. It's more or less the 1618 extension here. And these upside targets are only, and I have to really focus on tell you that again, only if we break above the green line and we break above the 100% extension. As long as this stays in that range here and we're not able to make higher highs, the probabilities increase that we go lower directly, okay? So move up to the upside in either a B or X wave, and then if impulsive move to the downside in the yellow scenario, or we have in the which is now the white scenario, a 4th wave, and then we build to the downside directly impulsively. So that would be the alternate scenario, but for now I leave it like this. And it would suggest that our truncation low has formed here on the 13th of March. And this whole move is at the moment a double zigzag pattern to the upside, okay? In the X or B. And then another sell-off would indicate, and the more directly bearish scenario would be the direct impulse to the downside from here. And then we would have to put the 4 here, the 3 goes here, and the 5 is still in making, okay? So the outlook afterwards, after that new low, and if the scenario that we come higher in the X wave, I put already up the extensions for the C wave of Y to the downside. These C waves like to really be very short in this scenario, okay? They could only extend to the 61.8 at 90,142. That would look like this. Our corrective move to the upside, get a rejection in here, impulsive move to the downside, and then only take the 61.8 and then come higher again. These scenarios are relatively often in these complex corrections, but also the 100% extension is a good target. So when we ever see the first impulse to the downside, we can extend the 3rd wave target and the 4th wave and the 5th wave. But therefore I need more evidence that we come down directly, and then I can put the targets for this alternate scenario in, or for the white scenario that the 5th wave could still be in play, okay? But for now, when we come higher in our double zigzag structure, I'm expecting another 5-wave move to the downside from here. And this then would be, these were the 2 targets here in my view, which is 90,142 and 17,791. This move, or this target, will adjust with the price. So I have now put it to the 61.8 fib retracement level, measured from that high to that low. But for now, the market can go higher. So these X waves, they can also extend higher. But I don't really want to see it above the 61.8, because from above we should have and get, in this scenario, a lot of selling pressure to the selling pressure, okay? So I don't really want a price to take out the 61.8 at 21,002 at 323. And as long as we go higher from here, I will make the yellow scenario to my primary scenario and then change the labeling. But don't get confused here. You have the 2 scenarios right now, either that move up to the upside in X or B, then another sell-off, or we move down directly in an impulse, and that would then move the 4 here, the 5 goes down here, and the 3 goes here, okay? Good, after that move, and either way, I do expect another intermediate B wave rally, and then followed another intermediate C wave to the downside. But that's at the moment not on the table. I will discuss that in a weekly update when I have the time to do that, because this is a longer topic. But for now, I think we should be prepared for these 2 scenarios, either a direct move up or a direct move to the downside here. I don't expect, and I really don't want in both scenarios, not more ranging. Okay, that is not allowed at the moment. We should not range anymore. It should be a decision relatively soon. And then we can focus on either the downside in the scenario where we have to put the 4 here and we are in the 5th wave, or a direct break now to the upside in an impulse. That would then increase the probabilities for the yellow scenario. Good. I think that's all set right now. I wish everybody a nice evening and a nice trading day tomorrow. And as always, if you like my video, feel free to subscribe. And if you really like the video, leave a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. So have a good evening. Bye-bye. Ciao, ciao.